Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Devotees, please accept humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
We continue our discussion. Just give me 1 second. Let me open up the shloka and then I'm gonna read. 1 second. Okay. I'll begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Gita, chapter number 2, text number 13. We'll continue from yesterday where I stopped. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatranamyate. Translation purport given by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age. The soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Purport. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the supreme cleavable or changeable, against the principle of supreme souls being unchangeable. As confirmed in Gita, the fragmental portions of the supreme exist eternally, sanatana, and are called kshara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternal, and even after liberation, the individual souls remain the same fragmental. Let me read this line again. Please hear attentively, it's very important. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the Supreme exist eternally and are called kshara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down. So this is an answer to everyone who has this question, oh, why the jiva came from the spiritual world. Because we have the tendency to come down again into this material nature. That's why we call it kshara. They're fragmental part and parcel. These fragmental portions are eternal. So, and even after liberation, the individual souls remain the same fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul, who is present in each and every individual body and is known as Paramatma. He is different from the individual living entity. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities and the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the Supreme Soul is the personality of Godhead. They are not on the same level as it will be apparent in the beginning of 4th chapter. If Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then the relationship of instructor and instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are deluded by the illusory energy, then there is no need of one being the instructor and the other one instructed. Such instruction would be useless because in the clutches of the material nature, in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity. Arjuna is forgetful soul deluded by material nature. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दिनतारिणं। हरे कृष्ण। So very interesting shloka where the Lord for the first time giving a clarity of who actually we are. Now, when we see this or try to analyze uh, this aspect, it gives a clarity or an understanding that what this really is. So we need to understand clarity in Krishna consciousness comes through the association. Now, when we read this purport, we try to understand one thing becomes very clear that the consciousness is we are fragmental part and parcel. What is that? We have an identity. Every jiva in this world has an identity. Animal, birds, plants, everyone will have an identity. Now, this identity is connected. This identity, the jiva, is part and parcel. Mamayavamshu jiva loke. Jiva bhuta sanatanaha. That means this jiva is fragmental. How do we understand this practically? How can we perceive this? Now, let me tell an example. Father is a devotee. The son, obviously, is newly born. The father goes to the temple. He offers obeisances in front of Srila Prabhupada. The son is watching. The father gets up from there. He offers obeisances at the deities, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Son is watching. He's watching the father a couple of times. Next time, what he does is, whenever father offers obeisances, son is also offering obeisances. Now, what happened? The father, the child has a connection with the father. Now, whatever father is doing, child is trying to repeat that. Why? Because child is feeling that connection with the father. Let's say the child, because child has deep affection, relation, love towards the father. So son would naturally do that, whatever father is doing. So he might not know why he is offering obeisances, but he is offering obeisances. He doesn't know the details. So he doesn't know the details. This person doesn't know the details, but he is offering obeisances. Actually, we are like that. Supreme Father is a father. Krishna is the source of everyone, all powerful, all attractive. Now, that father, when he does something, especially through his pure souls, through the spiritual master, through the acharyas, when he does something. Now, whoever has a connection with those personalities, they immediately would grab that opportunity. Just like the child is offering obeisances. Now, How is that child offering obeisances, which is quite natural? How is that jiva should cultivate that? The jiva cultivates that connection through Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, three aspects. Because if these three aspects are not there, please understand, I again repeat, if these three aspects are not there, the jiva is bewildered in this world. Now, when we begin thinking about this, why is that so important in our life? Why can't I do it all by myself? Because we are fragmental. We are who? We are not Akshara, we are Kshara. Kshara is minute. And this minute has a tendency to go away from the Lord also. Please understand. Now, that is the whole point why we are here. I said, right, those three lines are very important. Those three lines, why are they so important? Because we are minute. Just like our dear Vamshuras Prabhu asked this question last month. Why the jiva is always like that? So that is the nature. Why the jiva is always like that? Why the jiva doesn't get the position which the exalted personalities, like all those exalted personalities were there, intimate associates with the Lord. Why the jiva doesn't get that facility? Because they are not fragmental part and parcel. Their state is different. Please understand. They are part of the Lord. We are also part of the Lord. We are minute part. Please understand. So those they are the direct expansions of the Lord. We are fragmental part. It's like Jiva is always Jiva. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Nityananda is Balramji, direct expansion. Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu, Lord Shiva, another expansion. Gadadhara is another expansion, Srimati Radharani. Srivasadi is the Jiva manifestation. Srivasadi in Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivasadi. That Srivasadi is the Jiva manifestation. That Jiva manifestation is not a complete manifestation. Please understand. This Jiva manifestation will have some limitations. That Jiva manifestation is part of that Srivasadi, which is Narad Muni, part of the Srivasadi realm. Under that set, we fall under that category. But this Jiva has always the free will to take. Now you need to understand how important. Let me tell a couple of things more before to come to this point. Dear devotees, if you see our position is little fragile. You know why our position is little fragile? Because if the jiva forgets the Lord, then the jiva is absorbed by the material nature. If the jiva remembers the Lord, jiva is not absorbed by the material nature. That means jiva is not afflicted by the material nature. That means jiva has to do what? Jiva has to do what he has to do. What he has to do? He has to understand his constitutional position and to work according to that constitutional position. The Jiva has any alternative? No. Jiva doesn't. Jiva will never have any alternative. Now, why the Jiva doesn't have an alternative? That is for our well-being. That is for our well-being. Lord doesn't give any alternative chance for us because Lord is the Father, right? Father doesn't want his child to astray, to go away. Actually, even though he is in this material nature, he is not away from the Lord. Please understand this. Because Lord kept his external energy to protect this jiva. Do you see jiva doing anything else other than under the protection or guidance or acceptance of the material nature. No, Jiva doesn't do anything else other than what he is in the material nature. He is in the material world, is part of this material nature. If he is in the spiritual world, is part of the spiritual nature. He is not half and half. Jiva cannot be half and half. Please understand. This is very, very important. And when we understand the relationship between the Lord and his associates, the Jiva, which our acharyas will reveal, because they have realized what is the difference between the acharya, the pure souls, and we, the conditioned state. What is the difference? We have not realized it, they have fully realized it. Through that full realization, they share their purports, they share their wisdoms, they share their heart. Through that heart sharing, what happens? Slowly, we will also get their reflections and realizations when we feel that relationship with them. That means he is my well-wisher. Let me fully accept what he says. At that moment, Krishna will open up our heart. This because the Kshara always has a tendency to fall down. Now a question will come. Wow, then if the Jiva is always having the tendency to fall down, then why should I do this process? I'll tell an example. Let's say the person is in a jail. His tenure is 2 years. He committed some crime. He was sent to the jail for 2 years. After 2 years, he came out. Does it mean that he will not again go back to that place? Does it have a guarantee? It doesn't have a guarantee. But can he continue leading a good life and do not ever go there? He can do that. That means two choices are given to him. Now this is the whole point. Now why the kshara is given to the jiva? Why that state is given to the jiva? The kshara is given to the jiva because the Lord is not expecting anything else. Like the Lord is not expecting from the jiva to do the things which Brahmaji is doing. Please understand. Krishna is not expecting from us to open up a big temple. He's not having, he doesn't have, that is the job of the acharyas. You don't have to do that. Please understand. A lot of people will have this understanding. If I open up a temple or if I open up a center, then I'll go back to Godhead. No, who said that? Or if I do this activity or if I do that activity, I'll go to the spiritual world. Who said that? No. How many temples did Prahlad Maharaj opened to go back to Godhead? I'm giving an example. Why? To have a clarity. That means what is more important than an activity? For example, if I opened up a temple also, but if I'm puffed up that I opened up a temple, I will rot in this material world and I will never go back to the spiritual world because I never understood the essence. Thinking that I opened up a temple and then seeing everyone down, even my fellow devotees. If I'm seeing them down, then what's the point? That means the essential point is missed. For example, if a person opened up a temple, he's seeing everyone else. This personality, they're not opening up a temple. That means I am advanced. I am great. That means his activity increased his pride. Rather than that activity, reduced that activity, reduce that pride. So we should do that kind of activities which actually intensify our relationship with the spiritual master and the Lord. That activity which intensifies our relationship with the spiritual master and the Lord is what we need to grab. If we do not grab that and then fall in this state of opening up a temple, of opening up this, opening up that, but not concentrating, I'm not saying that we shouldn't open up a temple. I'm saying that we should open up a temple with the right consciousness, right mentality. Because this is subtle elements dear devotees. Because we are kshara. Why we are discussing this deep? Because we are kshara. The kshara means it has a tendency to fall down. No matter in which situation is being kept. This is a whole point, dear devotees. After coming out of the class, we don't remember what's happened in the class. Because we are that kshara. That means the jiva has to be fully convinced. That jiva has to be fully absorbed in that thought process. In that consciousness, he should dwell in that consciousness. He cannot stay independent of that consciousness. Please understand. If we stay, the moment we stay independent of that consciousness, material nature will immediately catch us. Just like our acharyas do tell that when Gajendra was in the battle with the crocodile fighting for his life, Gajendra was actually fighting. He's trying to fight. He's trying to fight through his endeavor, through his efforts, for years, for hundreds of years. He was doing through his efforts, but things were not manifesting. But the moment he submitted himself to the Lord personally came and devoured that crocodile, and then went, took Gajendra back home, back to Godhead. Now, at this moment, our acharyas tell the moment Gajendra was freed, at that point, as the jiva has the mentality of Kshara, of falling down, if at that moment Gajendra felt that, oh, this is a relaxed state, let me relax, let me try to enjoy again with my wife, with my children, then Lord would have left Gajendra and then went back home, back to Godhead. That means what is the mentality? The mentality is to become fully dependent. This is the whole reason the Lord has kept Kshara in that particular state, which is we, Jiva. That's why, dear devotee, we need to understand our nature also. Very important. If we don't understand our nature, we get bewildered or we get depressed, thinking that, oh, I've been practicing since 10 years. Kuch ho raha hai nahi. Oh, I've been doing this since 20 years. Kuch ho raha hai nahi. And we get dejected. To all the people who are getting dejected, this sloka is a perfect example. Because that is our nature. Jiva nature is to fall down. That is there within. Now let's take the same example of a prisoner who came out of the jail. When the prisoner would come out of the jail, he can do two things. Again commit a mistake and go back to the jail. A. B. Never commit a mistake in his life. But he has a tendency to commit mistake. That means kujli hai. That itching is there. He has that kujli to commit that mistake again. That tendency, the old habits, they can come again because he associated with that before. But if he's fixed up, Prabhupada says, somehow to hook or crook, when you take association of the spiritual master, if you're connected to him and then never commit that heinous acts, then the kshara will come from a state of dependence to complete independence. This is what Srila Prabhupada wanted to do. This is what our spiritual masters wanted to give us. Please understand this. The moment we understand our natural state, dear devotees, we will never be bewildered in this world. For example, there is a fall down. Don't worry. We shouldn't worry about that. What we should do? We should pick it up. We should pick it up. We should understand. I remember a spiritual master, whenever those kind of situations do happen in any devotee's life, he would never judge them. That's the beauty of a pure soul. Please understand. He would never ever judge them. Rather what he will do, he will give relationship. He will give more love, affection to them. Because he understands if there's a pathetic condition in this. We are in a pathetic condition in this world. That's why they give us services. That means they engage us in various services. They give good consciousness. See, dear devotees, who is a perfect person? Who is an expert spiritual master? I'll tell who is an expert spiritual master. Expert spiritual master is such a person who gives us that consciousness, and then not only that, after giving that consciousness, he gives services to dwell in that consciousness. Please understand. What is A? He gives consciousness. B, he gives services to dwell in that consciousness. Why? If you are not absorbed in that consciousness through that services, the services become burden for us. But when we use the consciousness which he has given as a gift to us, And when we dwell in our services, what happens? This is the real Krishna consciousness, practical. Then you'll realize that you're not this body but a powerful spirit soul. वो आएगा रियलाइजेशन में आएगा वो दूर का बात नहीं है. Self realization is not too far. It will happen. But what we need to do, we should exactly follow what they are doing. We should exactly follow what they are telling. We should do that as is. When Prabhupada says something, his followers immediately accepted it. Do you understand? Oh, this is a magnanimity. This is the greatness of this pure souls. I remember spiritual master telling that when the consciousness is rightly applied under correct association, what happens is the jiva's qualities naturally come out. Because I see same devotees 5 years back, they're not like this today. I practically see devotees 5 years ago when they first came in association with the spiritual master, they are not like this. But now what they are speaking is totally different. Now where is this manifesting? How is this happening? Through association. That means association is very powerful. The Shravana Kirtan is very powerful. If that Shravana Kirtan is rightly applied, then only we can do services. If the Shravana Kirtan is not rightly applied, we cannot do services. Why? Because we are Kshara. Kshara means this Jiva has a tendency to fall down. That means that is the whole reason why Lord is not Lord is not expecting us to do big services like Brahmaji. He's not asking us to create something. Even Brahmaji went through the training before he created. Do you understand? That means every jiva has the opportunity before to do a service, they will be given a chance to do the training. They have to go through the training. Now, this is an interesting understanding which we need to assess here is, you see Prahlad Maharaj, do you see Prahlad Maharaj doing big things? No. Did he did big services when he was 5 year old? No. But Nrsimhadev came. Why? Irrespective of the difficulties which he is going through, what he did is he always not turning towards the Lord. He's always absorbed with the Lord. Please understand. When because the pure souls, when they are Nitya Siddhas, right? They come from the spiritual world. And then they show through their life of how we should lead our life. So when they show this is what we should do, likewise when we go to office and we do our duties at office, what we have to do, we have to develop this consciousness. And then the fruits which come through the office should be engaged in the service of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Means the Lakshmi which comes should be engaged. Because what is happening? The work which we are doing is getting purified. The attachments which we have, what are the greatest attachments in this world? Money, right? No, people will not speak. People use this as the greatest medium to speak lies. Money can speak so many things. Please don't underestimate it. It is one of the powerful tools of material nature. It can make person from truthful to untruthful. It can make person from one state to other state. It can break relationships. Even with the spiritual personalities, it can break relationship with those personalities also, who are pure, because we keep our consciousness to them. So when we keep our consciousness to them, what is happening? They are there only. Pure souls, they are always there. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to bring those pure souls into our state. This is the state of Kshara. Tendency of falling down. These are the examples of the tendency of falling down. Now, I hope now you are understanding how important this consciousness is. Because if the consciousness is not to dwell in right state, it will not yield right results. Actually, it will keep us in a perplexed state. Okay, again coming back to Prahlad Maharaj's example. Now Lord is not expecting Prahlad Maharaj to do big things. So turning towards the Lord is itself the greatest thing, which pleases him so much. And for that devotee is ready to do anything. That means to protect one devotee, Lord can kill so many people. Bhagavatam says, right? Narasimha killed thousands of people when he came. All the demons are destroyed. Unlimited ways. Again, coming back to this aspect. Teinosun yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jira. Tata deha antara praptir dhira satranamute. Now, who is a sober person? Sober person is that kind of a person who is not bewildered. Now, why? How come the jiva who is so attached to this material world can come to this state of complete realization that irrespective of the situation is accepting that condition? Now, how is that manifesting? Is that something easy or is that something difficult? It depends on how we are actually accepting the process of Krishna consciousness. If my acceptance, if my acceptance of Krishna consciousness is not in that state, then obviously I cannot avail that I am not this. You remember we discussed yesterday another aspect. When you begin closing your eyes, do you think that you are this body? And when you are absorbed in the process of Shravana and Kirtana and Smarana, do you ever think that you are this body? If you are really absorbed, you will not think. Because those thoughts will not come. Now, no doubt, when you are away from that, the thoughts might come. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was sitting there for 7 days without eating anything, no water, no nothing. Actually, after 1 day, after 2 days, he's not tired, he's asking deeper questions. If you actually go through Bhagavatam, the structured study, when you go into the details of it, you see him asking so many deeper questions. That means what is that indicating? He's showing, Prabhupada also showed when he was leaving his body, he did not take anything in the last 1 month. He just took some juices. But does it mean that when he's taking those juices, is he not discussing Krishna Katha? Actually, he discussed more. How is that happening? Now, what are all these indications? All these indications, they prove again and again that we are not this. And we can also experience by the blessing of the spiritual master that when we are absorbed in his teachings, in their words, then what happens is slowly but steadily we are in that state. What is that state? In the state of the soul, of the body. Because in the state of the soul, we are not looking for sense enjoyment. Please understand. Just to maintain this body, we honor Krishna Prasad. The body has to be connected. For that, it requires energy. That energy is given through Krishna Prasad. Because through Krishna Prasad, our consciousness is purified. That means we see the subtle elements. Just like when you are really absorbed in the process of Shravana and Kirtana and doing chanting, and you are really absorbed in that, what happens is you don't see anything else other than that. Is this not exactly what Parikshit Maharaj has seen on those entire 7 days? Please understand, this is a continuous process. And please don't think, and we should never think that, oh, Parikshit Maharaj took some kind of training. No, his entire life is training. That means his entire life is Krishna conscious. We see in the pure souls, they're like that. Their entire life is Krishna conscious. If we touch them, Krishna consciousness will come. If we touch them, they speak about Krishna. If we touch them, they speak about Shri Prabhupada. If we touch them, they speak about the spiritual master. What is that? That means they're totally absorbed in that state. This is a reality, right? I always remember, I always think, "Arey, this is what we need to develop, right? And this is what we need to associate with. Continuous absorption in Krishna consciousness is actually enhancing the jiva's happiness. The jiva doesn't need any other happiness. This is a happiness. When the jiva aspires only this, what happens, dear devotees? You will reach that state of not only you are a powerful spiritual, but you will reach another state that you are eternal part and parcel of the Lord, fragmental eternal part and parcel of the Lord. Now, through that realization, what is happening is your consciousness is completely in the state of samadhi. The same kshara who has a tendency to fall, that same kshara is actually connected deeper, and then his tendency to fall is completely taken away. Again by the mercy of the Lord. That means the jiva attains that eternal state through pure devotional service. Now you tell me, dear devotees, once in a blue moon discussion is good or daily discussion is good? Or once in a blue moon practicing, trying to practice or trying to chant Krishna consciousness is good, or daily practicing like that is good? Even daily practicing also we cannot come to that state. Please understand. But the daily practice will give us an opportunity to go deeper, to understand the consciousness within. We can feel that presence. Please understand. And that is bhakti. And you'll be elated and joyful if something is happening in our life. If it is positive, we give credits to the Lord. We give credits to the acharyas. We give credits to our spiritual master first, and then the acharyas, then to the Lord. If there is something bad, I immediately understand. Through my pathetic condition, through my diseased state, I committed so many mistakes. I'm getting little reaction to that. And then we keep our head grounded. Dear devotees, there is nothing to be puffed up in this world. Nothing. What can we be puffed up for? If you say that I have done, let's say I have done a worksheet or whatever, say I have done a worksheet, send that worksheet. Who is giving intelligence to do that worksheet? Krishna. Who is giving intelligence? Who is giving that service? Spiritual master. Who is giving that platform? Who is actually seeing us devotees? That means everything is done under their state, under their shelter and protection. Then what is ours? The moment we think that, we feel that we are nothing actually. And that nothing is actually a medicine to come out of this ksharak state. Because that will give us a state of dependency. Because we'll take the same example again. The jailer, the prisoner who, not the jailer, the prisoner who came out of the jail, he has two options. Again committing mistake or never commit a mistake. If he commits a mistake, if he's caught, what happens? First, he was being given a 2-year imprisonment. Now the imprisonment will be increased because he committed another mistake. That means he is intensified now. 4 years will be given. Likewise, when the material nature gives us a break, gives us relief, if we are not grabbing Krishna consciousness, and then when we are leave again this Krishna consciousness, what happens? Material nature will catch us very powerfully. This exactly happens in this world. For example, somebody practiced Krishna consciousness for a few years, and then they got a desire to do sense gratification. अभी देखेंगे cinema देखेंगे अभी. Let us watch movie. Let us watch movie. What happened? Now the grip towards the material nature is intensified. Now the material nature will take us in such an extent that we'll watch continuous movies only. Or continuous this, that, so many other things. Just like the prisoner is dragged again when he commits a heinous act, he's dragged again into the jail. Likewise, the material nature will again drag us. This time, the dragging is even intensified. Because now we also learned what Krishna consciousness is. Now, material nature says, now you know everything, and still again you're committing, you have more, punishment is more. Now, for this, we don't have to be worried. For this, what we have to do is we have to take more dependence. We have to be more and more dependent. Because, dear devotees, please understand, all of this discussion, all of this understanding is to intensify our relationship with our spiritual master. Please understand. Is to intensify or to see the presence of Srila Prabhupada. That is the whole point, actually. If we understand that, then what happens? Then the connection is established, the real connection. Otherwise, the Hridaya Granthi which is there in that will never be removed. The Hridaya Granthi, the knots which are there in heart, they slowly one by one has to be removed. Please understand that. That happens to the process of Shravana. The discussions, the daily discussions is very powerful because when we take that association continuously, what happens is slowly our enjoying tendency in this material world will be reduced. For example, if you begin to enjoy something, immediately the words of the spiritual master, oh, Baba, what are you doing? You shouldn't do that. You're watching, you're reading people, you're doing that, you're doing this. No. That means the consciousness will tell from within. Or when we ignore, that is what when we ignore that, what happens is they tell a few times and then after that they will not tell. Because the jiva has always the desire. Please understand. Jiva always has, he always carries that desire. Are ye karenge, because he has that independence. Because he has a property of that Kshara. Please understand. The more we dwell on this, what happens is, knowingly or unknowingly, we will realize these things and then we'll come out of it. Please understand. Otherwise, what happens is, we've been pulled into another material state again and again. This is not a problem, it is a problem actually. So we should be very vigilant. Our consciousness would be very tuned up. It should be very straightened. We cannot let loose anything in this material world. Now, this Kshara tendency is there in our consciousness also. Because through the consciousness only senses would work. Senses wouldn't work without an exception of the consciousness. Please understand. Senses only work through the consciousness. Now, this is the whole reason why spiritual master, they always tell us, correct the consciousness. The consciousness is corrected, everything else is corrected. Because honesty has to be established. Arjuna was that. He was telling, oh my dear Lord, I cannot hold this Gandiva. I cannot hold this Gandiva because my heart is not accepting. The same Gandiva where I was turning, where he was playing with his Gandiva, he is very powerful personality. He can do some games also with his Gandiva, but that same person who can easily lift that Gandiva is not in a position to even lift it. He kept it aside. I cannot take this. I cannot take this. Is this not honesty? When the Lord would see Prahlad Maharaj again, you know what he says? The Lord is telling to Prahlad Maharaj, I am your servant. Please understand. Now, why the Lord is telling that? He is such a master, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasa Sarvaloka Maheshwara. All proprietor. That all proprietor person, he is also not thinking that he is proprietor. Please understand this. Krishna himself is not claiming himself as a proprietor. Oh, yes, I'm proprietor. You all sit down. Hey, Baba, sit down. He's not telling like that. He has a deep relationship with his associates, with his intimates. Now, don't we aspire to go to that state? Or don't we aspire to develop that consciousness? Because that consciousness which we are developing is what matters for us. Because in this entire world, what are we trying to do? What should be our goal? Our goal is to please our acharyas. Our goal is to please the spiritual master. And through them, please Krishna. If Krishna is telling, I'm your servant, we should understand what kind of attitude Prahlad Maharaj has developed. If Krishna is telling to Srila Prabhupada, I'm your servant, we should understand what kind of attitude he has developed, Srila Prabhupada has developed. What is the attitude of spiritual master has developed? What they have done, what they have done in their life. Oh, when we understand that, we become indebted to them. Continuously, not in one state, oh, one state I'll be indebted, another state I will not be indebted. No, this is a continuous process. See, when you're doing something eternal, I always ask this question. If I'm doing something eternal, with what mood or state or consciousness which I need to be? Can I be like this? Like sometimes I'll practice, sometimes I'll get up, sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I'll sleep. Is that with that consciousness, can I come to that eternal state? Eternal means continuous. Continuous means I need to have that association which will help me to come to that state of continuity. For example, we met a person. It's a person is a spiritual master. Let's take the example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, the moment he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He met so many people who were practicing, but his heart was not connecting. Please understand. But the moment he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that's it. It's fixed up. No moments. Perfect state. He understood. He's everything for me. All I need to do is I need to just follow what he's telling and then move forward. Now, when we understand that, that means what is that? Eternal position, eternal connection is established. Not in this life or not in the next life. It's a continuous aspect is established. So this we need to understand. So the more we need to understand, the more we will understand. Do you understand this way? This eternality is not like it is there for one day, it is there for one life, or it is there for a few years, or it is there to be done in this way or in that way. It's a continuous thing. If you have to do something continuous, we need to really be convinced with that. See, if I'm not convinced with that, I cannot do that. Now, for that conviction, I need association. That association comes to relationship. They're all connected. Through that relationship only, Narsinga Dev devoured thousands of people just to please Prahlad Maharaj. No, Prahlad Maharaj was not even expecting that. Please understand. Prahlad Maharaj was not, oh, Baba, please. Narsinga Dev, you came. Both, I've been going through so many difficulties. You came now. But neither Prahlad Maharaj is telling, oh, kill everyone because they all tried to kill me. No, none of those things are there. But the Lord, he understands what he has to give to his devotees. Please understand, does this indicate how much he thinks about every jiva? And this we cannot understand actually. Only pure souls have to tell us. No, I couldn't understand this. By myself, I couldn't understand all of these things. Through the association of those pure personalities, the spiritual master, through them only we can understand all these intricacies. Now, this proves again and again that how deep relationship the Lord has with his devotees. Please understand. Bhakto sime sakachita. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spoke this statement actually. Because the heart of Narsinga and the heart of Krishna is not different. The heart of Prahlada and heart of Srila Prabhupada, heart of spiritual, they're not different. They are great personalities. We obey them, we follow them, we respect them, we worship them. You know what pleases the Lord most? Whoever really develops a genuine desire of appreciating a pure soul, that is what pleases the Lord. Genuine appreciation. One shouldn't appreciate because everyone is appreciating. One shouldn't appreciate because everyone is telling Guru Sadhu Shastra. You should also get that conviction. That Shravana helps us to come to that state. Please understand this data about this. Our Acharyas do tell Narsinga was actually waiting from which pillar I should come. He's actually waiting. Where Prahlada will show him. That intimate connection he has. And what did he did? He did not do things which Brahmaji did. He just accepted his condition and is completely absorbed in his consciousness with the Lord. As per the words of Nardamuni, as per the direction of his spiritual master. This is even intensifying because Krishna consciousness is a direct process. But that Krishna consciousness, if it is not being taken through bona fide authorized source, the direct process cannot have an effect on us. The direct process will only have an effect on us when we are taking this bona fide process through the right channel, right source, through the followers of Srila Prabhupada. Because they represent Srila Prabhupada words. Because why they represent the Srila Prabhupada words? Because they lead, they follow. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Like to share? No, Chanakya. Okay. Anyone would like to add or share? Hare Krishna. No, Chanakya. Looks like you unmuted.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. This problem.
Nothing, Prabhuji. I'm just, I don't have anything to discuss much. But I'm always feeling like blessed, but having your association and a lot of people association. I'm in initial stages, just as a guru. I'm just looking. I want to inbuild this Krishna consciousness more and more day by day. I want to keep my progress. That's the only thing I am requesting blessings from my guru and the Krishna.
Definitely. The more we aspire to hear, the more we'll get a better association. The more we'll understand the truth. The more we'll make progress. Because that is the whole point, right? Because when we realize that this is the essence of everything, then we work on that and then move forward. That's the progress which we need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, as a beginner, this time my situations, my senses will attract to the materialistic world. But we all know we cannot suppress or we cannot control our senses or we cannot control our feelings which connected with the materialistic world from childhood onwards. But in this travel journey to the Krishna consciousness, just I am doing deviating myself to the devotional side with the Krishna consciousness. Day by day, I am trying to improve my connecting with the Krishna
um, that helps me to, rather than suppressing this uh,
Correct, correct.
these things, just spending more and more time keeping like if I started with starting beginners as a starting day, if I am spending like 30 minutes in the Krishna consciousness, next day I'm improving to 1 hour, 1.5 hour, like by month on month I am just keep on progressing myself towards the Krishna consciousness.
The more we continue to hear on a daily basis, it improves one's consciousness drastically.
Mm.
And what you said was is important because we cannot suppress our senses. Rather, the senses have to be purified.
Mm.
Cannot suppress. We cannot withhold. No one can suppress their senses. But the consciousness has to be transformed. When the consciousness is changed, everything will work according to that. And we never feel that we are suppressing anything because the process is a very joyful process. When we do it in relationship, what happens is we feel that through my endeavor in this way, all these personalities are happy. So let me do it for their happiness. So through relationship, my mother will not feel that, oh, my senses are very tired now because I have to serve my child. No, mother will never feel like that because mother is doing through that loving relationship for that child. Likewise, when we do it for the pleasure of our spiritual master, for the pleasure of the acharyas, then we never feel that we are doing anything. Oh, I did not. We will never even think that, oh, आज सोया नहीं मैं, आज ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. We'll never think like that.
Right, Prabhu. Prabhu, చెప్పండి.
Those things will never come. Hare Krishna.
చేస్తా. సాయి ధనలక్ష్మి ధనలక్ష్మి మాత్రం నెంబర్ ఉందా నా దగ్గర?
Anyone else would like to add?
పంపించారా?
It's very important here what suppression cannot work in Krishna
Okay,
consciousness. The senses have to should actually feel the relation.
నేను యాడ్
Through that
చేస్తాను.
relation we can come out of.
అలాగే.
Cannot
ఇప్పుడు యాడ్
suppress.
ఓకే.
Thank you, Nachanak. It's important. Suppression will not work. We cannot suppress our senses.
Yeah, whenever I get this related thing, only one story I will get into my mind. So our senses and feelings are like a snake. When if we want to suppress, like with our leg on her head, snake head, so it may hold for some time, but it will try to release from our leg. It will try to rotate her tail to our leg or something. Finally, when we feel like it is not controllable, and if we release our leg from the snake head, it directly shoots our leg, whatever the leg that we place on the snake head. So it means like if we try to control our, if we try to suppress our senses, there might be a chance this materialistic world will try to deviate us from in this path. So at any moment, if we break that suppression, definitely we may fall from top to the bottom level, like least and least level at that time. So it is the story which I will get into my mind when I want to, rather than suppression, it's better to deviate my consciousness to the Krishna consciousness. If like in this moment, if I am getting any senses related to the materialistic world, I just keep calm. Let's take a pray for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then my mind will deviate from that.
Actually, senses are very powerful.
Yeah.
When the consciousness is not rightly being trained or being given through that relationship, it becomes difficult. That is why bhakti is a very powerful process. Bhakti has to be done for the pleasure of the other person. When it is done for the pleasure of other person, senses will automatically hear. Otherwise, senses will not hear. It's a very practical process. We need to cultivate that more and more. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Otherwise, we'll stop it here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, all goes to Srila Prabhu. Prabhu, one question.
Please.
Always, eternity, the Satchit Ananda feature with Nitya, right? That eternity, somehow I get deviated on understanding or having that eternity in my consciousness. Somehow I lose hold of it. And the other point also, the soul, to know that I'm a soul, spirit, consciously, yes, but that soul level consciousness, to get to that soul level consciousness all the time, it has to be in connection, or I should get to know about the super soul, or the relationship with the super soul only will give me that eternity, or that what to say, throughout the day, to know that I'm a soul, there should be a connection to the super soul. I shouldn't, I forget myself as a soul.
The connection of the soul to the super soul comes through relationship.
Mm.
Because why am I saying relationship is? Relationship comes through love. Relationship comes through affection. Relationship comes through respect. When the relationship is there in that format, then genuinely all day we work for their happiness. And when we begin working for their happiness, you're on the soul level. You're not different. Because the service you're doing for their happiness. Naturally, a selfish state is established without your intervention that is happening in your consciousness.
Mm.
Just like a mother, do you think that the mother will think about anything else other than her child? Doesn't think. What is her absorption? Wherever she goes, she is looking what can I purchase for my child? She goes to the market, she will see she'll see okra. She'll understand, oh, my child likes okra. Let me purchase this. So what is that? She's there at the market, but for whom she's going to the market? She's going for the child. A child wakes up 2 in the morning. She gets up immediately. But she's not to say, why is he waking up at this time? That means what is happening in the background? She's actually working for him. Please understand. The person is actually working for him. Likewise, we should actually work for the Lord. If that working for the Lord is not there, then there is no value for our life. There is no existence actually for us. Because Kshara is already in a state of separation from the Lord. Now, the constitution, we have to re-establish that. You remember at the beginning of the session, I said spiritual master gives us not only gives us the consciousness, he also gives us the services through which we engage the consciousness in those services. That itself is an indication that we are not in the external energy, we want to keep ourselves in that internal energy. That means they give that consciousness, they give that services, they give us the platform, they give everything. What are we doing? We're just trying to develop that consciousness. That is also they are giving. Then what are we? We're not doing anything. I always think like this. Because I'll tell an example. Now I come trying to do some service to the spiritual master. I come to the school. Now morning they give breakfast prasad. We take little and then we continue doing the services. And before that he gives the class early in the morning, 5:30 to 7:30. And then after that, 7:30 we go to the school. School begins at 8. We have to prepare. And then 9, breakfast prasad. Some devotees are coming and then serving. No, why those devotees are coming and serving here? They are trying to please the spiritual master. They also heard the class in the morning, just like I sat in the class, they also sat in the class. Just like all of you, Balu Prabhu is sitting in front of me. He also sat in the class. All the devotees, we all sit in the class. And then after that, one devotee goes to one service, another devotee goes to another service. Now the breakfast, another devotees, they are bringing from the temple. They are bringing from temple to the school. And then they are serving. They are serving the children. They are serving the teachers. That means everyone is engaged. And then after that, we continue our service. That means the consciousness which he gave in the morning, through that he gave a service. Through that service, we are engaged in that service. Through that engagement, what is happening? Our consciousness is elevated. If you are really thinking and trying to please him, what is happening is consciousness is elevated. Because what are we trying to do? We are trying to please. This is a service of him. This is his service. This is his school. What we have to do, we have to serve so that he is pleased through that service. So that his desires, what are there? That means his desires are already fulfilled. But he is giving us a platform so that our consciousness is also purified through this platform. Just like Srila Prabhupada gave, he said, chant Hare Krishna, consciousness is purified. Yes. Chanting of Hare Krishna is done in 2 hours. After that, what do we do? The services. They give that services. So that we engage in that service and then continue. And then when we see the devotee serving, we feel grateful to the devotee. This devotee is exalted, still is serving me. Who am I? I came from nowhere. They're serving me also. They serve nice prasad. That Mataji was cooking in the kitchen. It's difficult. It's very hot in summer, but they cook in the kitchen. There's so many devotees. They wanted to please spiritual master. They are cooking there nicely. They're offering it to Jagannath. Then after that prasad comes, and then lunch also prasad comes. Again we honor prasad. Then after that, continuing the service, what is this? That means the consciousness which is given in the morning, it has to continue until next day morning. That means when we are trying to uplift the consciousness, and then within which we deal with devotees. How are we dealing with the devotees? What is my consciousness? How is my heart responding internally? Is it showing me I am great? Or am I really accepting, or am I really cooperating with them? Am I really honest with them? Are these all checking in the heart doesn't keep us in the internal state? Is this not the platform of soul? Practically. That means the Kshara, the Jiva, has a tendency to fall down, but the spiritual master, what he does is they uplift us, they pick us up from that state and then keep us in the other state. That is why we are ever grateful to them. That is why we say Saksha Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. That is why we give the same respect just like we give to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, if one really understands Krishna consciousness, he gives more respect than Krishna to that Supreme Personality, to that spiritual master who gave everything in his life. At that moment, Raganuga Bhakti comes. Spontaneous, unalloyed devotional service comes. Because we are continuously inducted to them. This is not on the soul level, this is on Bhagavan level. This is not on the Paramatma also. This is Bhagavan direct with Krishna. This is practical, heart experience. I remember spiritual master telling, Krishna consciousness is not doing some activities, put this file here to there, or put this file from here to here. That is not Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious, you should feel that experience. Through that experience only we'll see the presence of the soul. Dear devotees, the soul is there. The soul is hearing now. When I speak, the soul within the heart, that is also hearing. Paramatma is also hearing. Paramatma is telling, are you really honest to your answer? He's asking me. That means I should be very honest. I remember spiritual telling me, whenever you speak anything about Krishna consciousness, you should be 100% sure that you are really honest in what you are speaking. Because he's sitting in na, either hai na. I can cheat so many, I can cheat others, but I cannot cheat the person who's sitting in the heart. He understands everything. So this is how we get connected. This is how we stay in that state continuously. I will so much end up that. Why? Because to have a platform to practice Krishna consciousness is rare in this world. I write it down, it's rare. So nobody is there to think about others. They have no idea what's happening. Krishna consciousness is a very deep science. Only subtle souls will understand. And if person is really understanding Krishna consciousness, we should never leave that association. Rather, what we should do is we should see what more can be done. और क्या service कर सकते हैं? What can I do from my side? What this happens is this actually invokes the internal consciousness which is there in the heart. Because Krishna तभी mercy देंगे. एतम प्रपद्यन्ते ताम सदैव जाम्यहम्. When we put an endeavor, we get a reciprocation. Again, we put an endeavor, again we put more endeavors, more reciprocations. And more you see the presence of the soul. Now, through this example, through this state, don't we see the presence of the soul continuously? We will see the presence of the soul. We see the presence of the Lord also. You can perceive. It's possible. In this lifetime, just by Shravana. Again telling, just by Shravana, if you apply that in your life, you'll see so many things. Your internal consciousness. For example, I told a couple of days back, right? Never be absorbed in the cell phone. Remember, I told few days back. Because what is happening, you watch for 5 minutes. And then after that, what happens is your consciousness internally, the consciousness, the 5 minutes is affecting the consciousness internally. What is the devotees there? Use only cell phone for services. Generally telling, So these things are important. Otherwise, the Kshara, we should never forget that. That is our tendency. The tendency is to fall down. That is the purpose is Nashta Prayashu Abhadreshu. Bhagavatam says Nashta Prayashu. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. That means Nityam means not morning 1 hour. Continuous Bhagavata. I remember a spiritual master telling, if somebody wakes him up in the night and then immediately after getting him up, after he wakes up, tells, I have this problem, can you solve? Immediately he'll give the answer. He'll not ask, kitna time hua? He'll not ask these questions. Immediately he'll tell the answer. Oh, yes, this is the problem. I already know that you'll come with this question. He'll begin like that. So, it's rare to find pure souls in this world. If we found, we should accept that. Correct. Is that okay, Amma? Did that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. So eternity comes with it's the service which would give that realization of eternity, because through service, sincerely service, that consciousness would be carried in that service, and that service, not just my service that I choose, but it should be given by the spiritual master, because it's the upliftment of the consciousness through that service. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thanks so
That's
much.
how we stay in that continuous state. Staying in that continuous state is important. If there is no service, you should find service.
Mm.
I'm talking to myself also. I should find service continuously. But we should always ask the question, why am I here? What am I doing? Every moment. Correct. Thank you. I think a little extra. Please excuse me. Thank you all very much. If I caused any inconvenience through my words, please excuse me. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
So maybe tomorrow there will be levels in that eternity also, right, Prabhu? There will be, if you can touch base on that as well later. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much.
Thank you for
Hare
giving
Krishna, Karina, Hare Krishna.
And thank you for giving wonderful bunch of Vamsa's poetry. I'll nurse the Prem Divani. Jam Shimada, Hare Krishna. Jam Shimada Brahmamsa Pri Rajacharya Charita Maresi Bhakti Varanda Samay Rajesh Lopar ki Jai.
Jai.
इसका मुफ्ती फानाचार्य श्लोपार की जय
Jai.
जम शमुदा परमहंसा परिव्राजक चार चरित श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिरंत सरस को समय राजेश श्लोपार की जय
Jai.
नंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
Jai.
मैं रस को की जय
Jai.
प्रेम से कौशिक कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री राधे शिव श्री गौर भक्ति वृंद की जय
Jai.
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कंद राध कुंगरी गवड़न की जय
Jai.
क्षमापुर धाम की जय
Jai.
अपने धाम की जय
Jai.
श्री जगन्नाथपुरी की जय
Jai.
गंगमाया की जय
Jai.
परमाया की जय
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की जय
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की जय
Jai.
की जय
Jai.
समवेद भक्तवृंद की जय
Jai.
मीता गौर प्रभुनंदे हरि हरि बोल
Hari Hari
All glories to Samudvati Sri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Samudvati Sri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Samudvati Sri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namam Shimraya Krishna Mishtaya Bhutale. Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani Namaste Sri Sri Devi Gauravani Pacharani. Nirashisha Sinivari Bashla Dishtarani. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Radha Shiv Sri Gauravastinda. Mugam Groti Vachalam Pangamam Kadagari Mekripatamaham Vande. Shri Gunitanatanam Paramanan Madhum Shri Janishram. Kurve Gorachinara Katarali Krishna Krishna Bhaktara Bhaktana Monamaha, Jacobit Chakra Visme Evichavati Taram Pavni, Vaishnavi Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, everyone have wonderful Krishna consciousness.